My name is Sydney, my pronouns are they, them, near, and I am the Education Coordinator here at Trans Wellness Ontario to take you on a tour of our Queer Museum. Our Queer Museum was funded by Run for Rocky and created and launched for the Trans Day of Visibility, March 31st, 2021, and we're so excited to share this excellent museum with you all. Okay. The first part of our museum is right when you walk into the building, and this is information about our organization, how we started as Windsor-Essex Transgender and Allied Support in 2016 and later became Trans Wellness Ontario in 2021. We talk about how our programs expanded and how we continue to expand as our organization through our Trans Wellness Ontario section. The next section of our museum talks about some important events in relation to the queer and trans community. And behind me we have our History of Hate wall, where we're talking about history in Canada and beyond of acts of prejudice, discrimination, and marginalization towards our community. As difficult as it is to have this section of the museum, it is part of our history, and it's important for us to be aware of where things have been and where we are now and where we need to go. To contrast our History of Hate wall, we have our History of Hope, where we talk about important moments of representation, of protections from discrimination, rights under the law, important moments for the queer and trans community in Canada and beyond, to honor the people who have fought for our rights to live as we are today. The next section of our museum represents queer agencies and organizations who have advocated for the rights of queer and trans folks, provided support and wellness support towards trans and queer folks, and created safe environments for queer and trans folks to live as they are. Our next section represents queer heroes, so those in the queer and trans community, athletes, artists, musicians, activists who have fought for the rights of queer and trans people and provided important representation in the media and in society, so queer and trans folks can see themselves represented by these amazing heroes. Here we have our queer arts section, so we're honoring all of the novels, television shows, movies, musical anthems, theater, and musicals that have positive queer representation and queer storylines. Since our physical center is located in Windsor, Ontario, we found that it was important to highlight the many activists and advocates within the Windsor-Essex community who have provided support for the queer and trans community, both in terms of advocacy and creating safe spaces within schools, within education systems, healthcare, and beyond. We know that many queer and trans folks want to explore spirituality and religion, but struggle to find safe spaces to do so. This Forming Faith wall provides details about churches and other places of worship that are safe spaces and safe havens for the queer and trans community to explore religion and spirituality. We know how incredibly diverse the queer and trans community is and how many colors and flags represent us. So we wanted to highlight the history of the flags as well as the terms and people that they represent through our flag section. In February 2021, Trans Wellness Ontario received 3 separate incidents of a hate crime perpetuated by a neo-Nazi, and many people in our community rallied behind us to show that they will not accept this type of hate and that they love and support us for who they are. This last section of our museum here details the many statements, letters of affirmation, and positive responses we received after the vandalism. One of the last things that we added to the Queer Museum in Pride Month was after we received some positive vandalism, Vandals of Love as they called themselves, where they plastered our front windows with sticky notes of affirmation and positivity. And this is just one of the many posters that we were able to create after that to just reaffirm that this is a safe space where all are celebrated, their dignity respected, and they are loved. Thank you so much for joining us for this tour of our Queer Museum. We hope to see you in person at the center for a live tour with us.